So we have UK, Ireland, Germany, Croatia, 4 nationalities, I think, so far. Lancashire. And excellent. So how many coaches? Anybody here not a coach? You're a wellness practitioner, but not a coach of some sort. So then let me know who's a coach. What kind of a coach are you? Nutrition coach, your health coach, your wellness coach, your diabetes coach. I've been niched already. And what kind of a coach are you? What?
I'm a nutrition and lifestyle coach, but I am literally just starting. So,
okay. Well, congratulations on getting through the NLC year. What was in it? I'm sure you're glad to have finished that one.
Yeah.
And you know, one of the reasons I'm doing these is because we get to the end of your qualification and go, finally, great, and suddenly we kind of anticipate that, you know, clients are just going to start flowing to us, or we just put up a website and that's the job done. And unfortunately, it isn't like that. Some of you, who here has been around, who here isn't just finished, but can relate to that. Yeah, maybe thought it would be a bit easier to.
Yeah, I qualified. I've been qualified about a year, but just having the confidence to get going.
Confidence to get going. Okay, this is exactly why I'm here. The confidence. Who else is? I'll be talking about the biggest challenge. Who here is looking for a bit of confidence to get going, or perhaps you're going when you're looking for the confidence to get going even more?
That would be me, definitely, Shane.
Yes.
I got my certificate only not a couple weeks back, actually, only a week back from IHS. Oh. And yeah, now I just need to put the brave face and start doing. Good. Not to wait, because I'm afraid the same. If I wait, I'm not gonna start. So I just I pick the approach that I will learn from doing. So I know there will be mistakes, but no, I just have to start, and that's it.
Good. Okay. So knowing you have to start, and there's no better time, if you haven't already started, there's no better time than right now. It doesn't get any easier. And there's been called procrastination. We don't always know. It's all, hey, I'm procrastination. I'm going to distract you from doing something important by having you, you know, follow this, you know, follow this link or scroll for another half an hour on Facebook. Or it has incredible ways of getting us away from what's important. Stuff is a bit scary. So confidence and experience. Right, I got a few slides. I might get started with the slides just to put a bit of a structure on it. And of course, they had a little bit more about me as well, because I am for some of you, I'm a familiar face, and for some of you, I'm not. So let me just pull up some slides. Helps me cover things like who I am. So, yeah, so my name is Shane Pearson. I've been coaching now. Actually, well, if you consider neurolinguistic programming, I was doing change work for at least 15 years now, since I started. But over the years, I went from NLP and neurolinguistic programming, which kind of a rapid change, and really incredible what you can do sometimes just with NLP in one or two sessions to help people with phobias, overcome fears and compulsions, all sorts of. It's strange the way the brain works and how we get all these keep doing things we don't want to do or not do the things we do want to do. So I was kind of working at that unconscious level. And then I studied nutritional therapy. Then I was employed by IHS as a nutritionist to train the students in NLP originally. And then I was chosen to be their health and wellness coach trainer when they brought the health and wellness coach training on board. So I've been training coaches and coaching now for, I think, 7 years. I was training the coaches. I've stopped now since the IHS closed. But we'll probably continue with someone else when I find another suitable match. So I've trained over 200, probably 250 health coaches, health and wellness coaches. And yeah, so I also trained at the highest level of NLP. I trained with some of the co-founders and right around the world. Did nutritional therapy along the way as well. And really, I've kind of found this blend of working with the mind and body through coaching, NLP, and nutritional therapy. I was awarded Lifestyle Coach of the Year, this year really, 21-22 and 22-23. Also an accredited thought leader in behavioral change. I'm the founder of Design Your Life Coaching, which is my brand. And yeah, that's really it. So also, I've over the years, I would train coaches and then I would mentor them. They would come to me for coaching afterwards. So I started to recognize that, just like me, coaches when they're trained, they just don't have enough. I'm from a farming background originally, so I didn't have a clue when I studied. I did have a lot of initial energy especially when I trained in NLP. I was very excited about what I did, and that led me to the first few clients. But to be able to build a business out of them, to be able to generate a consistent flow of clients, and know all the pieces in terms of marketing and sales and discovery calls and basic foundational. I think recording. Sorry, I wasn't sure if I started recording. Getting all the pieces in place. So then I found that I was mentoring more and more coaches who I trained, and then other people who heard about me. And my niche now is really helping. Well, one of my main niche is helping coaches like yourselves who have got your qualifications. Perhaps you've got some experience, but you're really struggling to make the business element of it work. So this is for these talks are for people like you who, just like me, didn't have those pieces, and I've learned a lot along the years, and I like to share that. So yeah, I was going back to my start. It was a self-development seminar that just triggered me. I was like, wow, I've been reading a lot of wellness-related articles, and I had this innate curiosity that led me to, want to know more and more and more. And then I kind of stumbled upon NLP. That was my first badge. And I was incredibly excited. Now when I started to work with clients and get results, I was incredibly excited about that. And then nutrition came in later on. But I want to ask you all, why did you train? Some of you are NLC, nutrition and lifestyle coaches. I think we had some health and wellness coaches. Perhaps there's some people who have niched in out of it. Why did you do it? It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money. There's often no clear pathway to success from it. What was it that brought you into it? Into what you're now trained in? You can come in verbally, you can come in on the chat box.
I think for me, it was in 2018, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. So I have twins who both have cerebral palsy, and I used them as an excuse not to look after myself. I was always too busy looking after the twins.
Yeah.
And then when I got the diagnosis, I realised I'm not going to be here for them, fit enough to look after them if I don't do something about it. Yeah. So I managed to reverse it with diet and exercise, and I just became very passionate about the fact that we can make massive changes to our health. So yeah, I managed to get about five stone off, and I went from not being able to even walk up a hill to sort of do about a half marathon, but I definitely don't have a marathon in me. But I've improved my fitness and everything. So I just feel passionate that other people can do that, and if we can keep people out of the NHS, a little bit as well.
Look, in this room, we all know that typically people will end up on the medication, and it's kind of it's making their life more managing their symptoms, but it's not necessarily making their life as good as it could be in terms of what you've done. So amazing, Claire, really fantastic. So having your own health challenge is often what draws us into these things. But the passion, and also the belief, because you are living, that's incredible. That's your marketing right there. That's your incredible, your story is very powerful. And where people who were into this belief, I could reverse this. Yeah, you walk the talk. Amazing. Anybody else got, let me see what's in the box here. Autoimmune, okay, another health challenge. Yes, so an autoimmune, that's a really tough one. I'm sorry, but I don't know which one it is, Rebecca, but the autoimmune are really, tricky ones. But so much we can do for ourselves. This is the thing in terms of health and wellness. The rising tide carries all boats. So sometimes we can improve our health generally and lessen the symptoms we have from a chronic disease, etc. And sometimes it's more targeted, and as we learn more. Carolyn, career change, ill health, and desire to help others reach full potential. Lovely. So often we're going to get a desire first to help ourselves and then to help others. Barbara, you have a hand up. You got something to share.
Yeah. Hi, Shane. Yeah, so mine hasn't been a health challenge or, working in the corporate world and suddenly getting a realization, but it's come from a place of always being in the wellness industry. So I started off as a massage therapist and got into looking after people in that sense, and then trained as a yoga teacher in my I practiced as early as in my 20s. So yoga has been a part of my life. So it's basically been a kind of roll-on effect of various different elements that I keep training in to help support people. So I suppose it's just I've got to understand the importance of support and guidance in people's lives through my own practice. But I suppose that sometimes is a stumbling block for me in marketing, because I sometimes think that it's not significant enough, that I don't have like a really bold story to tell of my transition. But in fact, it's been kind of like all part of my life as I've rolled on. And then obviously done training to be a doula, and then training to be a life and wellness coach, and then and a yoga instructor as well. So it's kind of like almost been like building blocks, I suppose, of the next best thing that I know is going to help people more and more. So yeah, that's probably my stumbling block of where I get caught up.
Well, I have a slide in this later on, but like really your stories. We have your story, and that can be part of it. But also, your stories can be your client stories, the people who you've worked with, the transformations you've helped people with. So they're equally as valid, and sometimes, depending on who you're talking to, more important. Oh, okay, wow. So Barbara has helped the person, just like me, go through a similar process. We'll be speaking about the structure later on. But we can go, we don't want the health challenge, but if we were over it and had it, great to have that in the back from the marketing, So it's a testament to those of you who have had the health challenge to get over it, or to really tackle it, and to put yourself in a position where it can be part of your story. But yeah, there's lots of other ways as well, Barbara. So it's just being maybe creative and remembering that also you're probably very intuitive if you're following that kind of following that. That next
and I think
step.
probably there's my life experiences have probably given me the ability to be more supportive and more empathic in those areas with what I've gone through myself. So on more of a kind of psychological level, perhaps, or intuitive, like you said.
Yeah, I'll be talking about the stories, telling stories really on it for marketing. It doesn't have to be a health challenge like this, going through certain periods of life, maybe the loss of someone, a breakup, or a losing a parent, losing a pet, just getting out of falling into bad ways and overcoming some bad habits, and or maybe setting a higher goal and pushing yourself, and it's all those things we can look at, not just the health challenges that can be very appealing, give us more stories for our marketing, for our brand, I suppose. So let's get down to business, because we're not here to just talk about the passion, because that's led us so far. Passion gets us here. What do we do next? So let's think of getting down to business, because passion does not mean profit, unfortunately. Who's here has found that one? Yeah, no matter how passionate you are, it's like, yeah, and you just, right, so where's all this profit? Where's all the money rolling in? We can't rely on our passion to be profitable. Who here has tried working for cheap or for free? And it's great for a little bit of experience, and then it kind of has a time and a place, and then it becomes when you have a few clients, when you've got a little bit of experience, counterproductive to both you and your clients, because you need to have people who are invested in their health, invested in the change themselves, and if they're not really paying, it's harder to tell whether they're invested. And working for cheap, you do not want to be kind of going for the undercutting someone else, because the race to the bottom is pretty like fighting for that bargain basement prices, because it's just not sustainable. You'll find it out for the hour you spend with a client, there's a lot more hours involved. And who here has been, who here has found that you find out, oh, I need to do another course. Then I will have the clients. Then they'll all come. If I have that credential, if I have that badge, if I have that, then only then will I be able to, you know, attract the clients. That who here has tried that and gathered a handful and realized, actually, maybe it's not about the credentials. You know, I've got there. I did tons of stuff along the years, and you get your baggage. You can get your fill your bag with credentials and qualifications, and it can definitely add to your profile. There's nothing wrong with it. It can add to your building your brand. It gives you more credibility, perhaps, but it won't necessarily make a sale or attract clients by themselves. And who here feels a calling to help people? You know, maybe you haven't found exactly who yet, but you know there's a desire to help people. So I definitely had that, and it would be lovely. I often wish you just came to me and said, "Here, Shane, just please work with me, and here's my money. Just like, let's do this." And sometimes you get a few of those. You know, the universe being generous in some ways, referrals have been good, but until you're able to really enroll the clients and learn this skill of enrolling, is like enrolling for me has changed. It's enrolling them in their vision. It's enrolling them in the transformation they want. And until you can really enroll them in the transformation you can help them make possible, it's very hard for you to and ultimately make the sale. You're not going to be working with the people that you're here to help. So a lot of this was uncomfortable for me, and some of it still is. So there's the things like the discovery call, the sales call, whatever means you have of actually turning a prospect into a client. Is a skill in that, and you don't get enough from your training. Who here got some basic stuff from your training as an NLC or health and wellness coach or something else, and said, yeah, you do a website, you get a Facebook page or something, some ideas or suggestions, and you thought you had enough, only for you to realize, oh, actually that's not enough. I thought I was clear, I'm not clear, I need more. I definitely found that, and I trained a lot. I'm trained with mostly better courses through in a little bit of the business side of it. And you just think you have enough, and then you try it out and you go, actually, that's not enough. And I tell you the truth, working in academia for so long, a lot of people putting the courses together haven't built their own practice fully, or haven't done the hard work to really make a kind of a full-time profession out of it. So it's not always inherent there in the and the people who maybe build a college, you know, a coach trainer, or a coach training company. They're building a coach training company is different than building one-to-one clients. So you don't really have enough or give enough, and it's just not enough time, even if they have it to their total. I know from doing credentialized courses, you're working so hard to meet the credentials requirements that you don't have time for the business element. And even when you do know, who here has read books, or maybe you taught your knowledge from a course, or maybe you've downloaded ebooks and all sorts, and you think, and you know enough, and you're still not doing it. Now, hands up, who here already knows enough about, you know, attracting you're getting your next client in the door, and you're not doing it. You know, I've been there. You know, it's like, yeah, I need to know this. So there's our own internal fears and our lack of confidence are often playing a much bigger part than we often realize until we step back and go, wait a minute, I actually know enough, and I'm still not doing it. So there's lots of internal fears along the way, such as fear of rejection, fear of not being good enough, fear of not doing a great job, or perhaps letting someone down, fear of not being as good as someone else, feeling like an imposter syndrome, feeling like a fraud. Yeah. So let's get real in terms of the personal element of it here. Let me just change that. The sales and the marketing piece. So what does this bring up in you, in your wallet? Just think about, okay, right. Imagine right now, Shane is going to challenge you all. And after this call, you're going to get out there and you're going to get into the nuts and bolts, and you're going to be starting reaching out, making connections, talking to people, marketing yourself, and then selling. Think of that, and how much of that is excitement? Put a percentage on the excitement versus fear, or the dread, because sometimes the generator says, "Oh God, not that piece," and that's the dread or the discomfort or the fear, and give that a percentage, because there's never really 100% one or the other. But it's like, oh yeah, it's a bit exciting, and then it's or it's like it's a lot exciting, really exciting, excellent, Jill, and then. It discovered who here would go, oh, good, more like 50-50 for me, or it's, I'm still on 90, I'm still not 95%. At times at 95%, and other times, yeah, there's times I'm 100%. Like right now, like I'm talking to people, I'm trying to help them, I'm serving, I'm not selling, I'm really excited. Other times, like, oh God, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this piece. 50-50, okay. So mostly dread and working out the tech, yeah. So there's going to be lack of clarity along the way. It's like, oh, I don't know what to do, or so just think about that. That's kind of and as we could also then see what's causing that. So in terms of your current mindset, let's figure out, for Jill, you were at 95%. Someone else is more dread than excitement. Yeah, and it's part-time. Part-time you get really excited, and another part-time you go, oh God, really? Maybe it's when you're about to sit down to do the content, or to do a video of yourself, or to some of those squeaky bum things. I'm going to announce a free webinar, and I'm going to have people invited. Will anybody show up? Are you excited about content? And we should do this or this. So let's get real with that kind of internal struggle that might be at work. That's a big part of this. And then, yeah, what's your current? This is interesting. For those of you who aren't really like Jill, 95% go. It's like, what do you believe you have to do or be in terms of, let's start with marketing. What are some of the times that we have some myths? I have to do this. Oh, now I have to do this. And it's just not you. Or you feel like it's not you. It's like, oh God, I have to know. I know I have to do a Facebook Live, or I know I have to do all this stuff on Instagram. I know I have to be perfect. What are your genuine? Yeah, if you knew what was doing was going to work. So perhaps that's kind of a belief there.
If I can share, because I'm trying to really get into putting a little bit more LinkedIn and social media, but there's so much pressure, and sometimes when I'm there trying to do something, either a post on LinkedIn or on Instagram, it is really overwhelming, the amount of stuff we're thrown at, and then you're thinking that's when for me this kind of feeling of being scared kicks in, because I'm like, oh my God, there's so much content, great content, people are using all sorts of tools. I'm not a super tech savvy person, and that's where I start feeling that what I'm doing probably is not going to be good enough for me to be able to attract the right clients. And social media is a huge thing, because everybody's there. So everybody keeps telling me, you need to be present, you need to have this social media presence, you need to create content. And it takes also time to create good content. So I'm struggling sometimes on what is the best way to market a brand or your services, and let people know who you are and what you're there to help them for.
Okay, who here can relate to Ilaria's? Yeah, because you're right. And even now I'm intimidated. Like, I have never, been consistent on social media for a long time, and generating the kind of content over and over and over. It just is not going to. It's just not my way at the moment. Anyway, sometimes it change, but it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and for what? Who here has done a stint of that and got pretty crappy results. Claire, do you want to tell me about how motivating is that?
Yeah, it's a little bit demotivating. So I've done I've got a Facebook page, I've got my website, I've done all my branding and everything. I had somebody do my branding for me. I've actually been and had some headshots, professional headshots done. My next step is to get some leaflets printed out to put around all the local gyms and things. The only thing that I've got one possible lead from was doing a talk.
A talk, yeah.
And it was just a general talk around sort of making healthy choices, healthy eating. And there is a potential lead from that, but it's the first time I've ever done a talk, and it was absolutely terrible. I did sort of a full PowerPoint and everything. It took me ages to do it. It took a lot of work. And I was terrified.
Okay.
And it's maybe got one lead. It does feel it can feel a little bit disheartening.
Yeah, of course. And I totally agree. That put me off. And so I think back in the day, I knew I didn't have enough clarity, that so what I wouldn't waste my time, and I was reluctant to waste my time. But I know a lot of people who have wasted their time, and it's demotivating. But that's a thing. So you have 4 options, 4 main categories. Probably more, but this is the 4 main categories that I'm aware of. Content creation is one. So good news, there's more options. Another one is speaking, like Claire. So looking for speaking options, and there's always groups looking for speakers. And if you can do it for free. And we'll talk about some of the clarity you need, such as niching, etc. That will really help you put yourself in front of the right people. Another one is referrals. So, and again, what I'm going to show you when you get ready to go to market, all these things will become easier. Referrals, another one. Referrals, speaking, content, and networking. Some of you are natural networkers. And forget, working to your strengths. So always work to your strengths. And in terms of content is valuable. Here's a tip on terms of content, is to be more efficient with content, is produce a longer piece of content and just break it down into bite-sized pieces. And it's easier to choose a kind of a longer piece, a longer kind of style content for when you know who you help and how, when you're kind of clear on what you're doing, which I'll try and help you get clear on in the next few slides. Then a long form article, a long form video, and then break it into pieces, and that can be used. And it can also be reused. Keep it on file. Start thinking about getting savvy with your time. And rather than, and also, the only person to compare yourself to is the former you, as Jim Rohn would say. So when we're comparing ourselves to the people who have, I think, have incredible techie skills, and especially the millennials and stuff, they're like, it was amazing with phones, and they can do videos and have subtitles and, TikTok and all of that kind of stuff. If that's not your strength, work to your strengths. So what's your biggest challenge, folks, in terms of marketing and sales? What's your biggest challenge?
I think what somebody mentioned earlier is, I guess, a little bit of imposter syndrome.
Okay. Tell me more. Let me for hands. It's just a bit of a wave of hands or imposter syndrome, and that's feeling like, you're a fraud. So Claire, go ahead and anyway, tell me more about that one. You're not the only person.
I think because there are people out there already doing this who've been doing it for a long time. So when you're very new to it, and you're coming in with ideas, I've sort of tried to bring ideas to people that are sort of myth, let's bust the myth about, part of my talk was let's bust the myth about low fat.
Oh, good.
About fats actually can be healthy for you in the right quantities and that sort of thing. And I guess it's just the worry that when you're bringing out these sort of ideas and what have you, that people who've been in the market longer than you are sort of looking at what you're doing and, who's this upstart?
Okay. So it's a fear of what?
Yeah.
Just to be in terms of mindset, what you're making up stuff, and we're all guilty of this. We're making up stuff in our heads of what we think other people think about us, and then we're creating your finger. So just catch yourself, and there I go again, imagine what people are going to think about me, and I'm feeling bad about my own thoughts about what making up in my head what someone else is thinking. But it's natural, it's perfect, and it's just there's a certain level of discomfort you're going to have to get through. But I will move on and quickly to help you get clearer to help kind of reduce all that. Barbara, you got a hand up.
Yeah, I think similar to Claire, it's feeling like you can shout out proudly what you're doing,
Yeah,
without feeling like it's old news. Like you want to feel like you're original or unique, and that you've got something to shout about, and you have got something to shout about, rather than you just, you know, regurgitating stuff that's already been spoken about. So I suppose it's finding, you know, a bit of your unique ways to bring it across, and then having the confidence to shout about it clearly, and I suppose for it to resonate with people from that authenticity. That's my challenge, is the confidence behind it. Because I kind of feel like maybe speaking or doing workshops and things like that could be quite useful to me. It could be quite good for me to just get out into my community and start putting on different workshops and things. But then I'm like, yeah, but, you know, are people going to listen to me? And, you know, what I'm saying, is that going to resonate with them?
Yeah, Barbara, there's a lot of fears and doubts in there.
Yeah.
And the good news, bad news is you kind of have to practice, and you kind of have to be willing to put yourself on the line. You kind of have to put yourself in positions that are like, just like it was a Claire in her speech she did. It's terrifying, and you do it, and then there's an exhilaration that comes afterwards, especially that one promising lead gives you that kind of motivation to carry on. But think of marketing as simply a self-expression. And it's up to you to find your own voice. We won't find our own voice by, wondering what everybody else will think about it. But if you find your own voice by trying stuff out that's authentic to you, you mentioned the authenticity. And if there's a piece in there that, or maybe it's being regurgitated someone else, it doesn't seem to matter anymore. You know, in these days, everybody's regurgitating something else from someone else. But sometimes people will just say something you've heard before, but in a way that, I kind of heard that before, but maybe you read a book and it was just the same stuff, but it was like, it's just landing with you. So just trust the people. There are people out there who are designed to hear you, and there's something special about all of you. There's something special about all of us, but it takes courage to step out and show leadership and just go, well, this is my story, and express yourself authentically. There's discomfort in that, but that's where the growth zone is. So when we hit that discomfort, do it anyway. And then you'll find over time your own way. Like, I love webinars. This is what I'm trying to hopefully offer you some value here. Someone else will do great content or reading, or find your own way. But try stuff out. And let's talk about now about, are you ready to go to market? Because one of the things I realized is when I started out this, I was going to the market. And I put a story up there. I created a story on Facebook. This little piggy coach went to market, and to underline it, little piggy coach wasn't ready to go to market. So when she wasn't ready to go to market, but she went anyway. She came home with no sales. So that's what happened to me. So what I learned along the way is, okay, it's really useful to know your niche, or have a niche, or to try a niche, because it's going to be a crowded street and there's going to be other people there at the market. So when you know your niche, you're able to you basically know your target audience, and you're also clear on how you help them. Big take home for you all today, though, is, what are you selling? What are you selling? Who is clear on what you're selling? What is the product that you sell? What is this thing? I'm talking sales. What are we selling? So if you're not, that silence kind of might be telling in itself. It's kind of hard to get to that. Oh, I don't know what I'm selling. I'm just basically just trained there. Remember, that what the people want to buy is a transformation. Okay, the transformation, you're selling transformations. So think of, Claire, your journey. So the transformation that you could sell isn't, you might call it reversal of type 2 diabetes, but really what you're selling is, do you experience, think of, how bad it was when you, and what also what life was like for you when you weren't looking after yourself. And then huge compassion for you with, with twins and cerebral palsy. So it was massive demands on you and responsibility, but it took its toll. And what you were experiencing, you were probably eating badly, sleeping badly, resting badly, beating yourself up because you weren't the person you thought you could be. And when you did have time to think for yourself, and you got in an awful mess. So this transformation you can sell is helping someone who's experiencing the pain points of where they are now. So that's your A. Where is the client now? This is when you start to get a bit more savvy with marketing. And if you know where they are now, maybe you've been there yourself, or maybe you just do some market research, or imagine the person. Imagine stepping into the shoes of someone who is somewhere that you can help them. Overweight, menopause, what's going on? I know that people are drawn to women's health, menopause. They're overweight. They've got a chronic pain, chronic condition. Think of the pain. Think of what their life is like, what they experience on a daily basis. And that's their A. That's where they are now. And if you can relate to them, by, saying, do you feel this? Do you ever feel like you don't want to get out of bed in the morning because it's just too much? You want to just, pull the duvet over your head rather than face the day? Or do you wake up wishing you had some energy, only to realize you're just as tired as when you went to bed, and you wonder why you even bother going to sleep? Think of the personal experience people are experiencing, and then think of the outcome they can get from working with you. So you're selling the transformation. That suddenly has value. Who here is realizing, oh my God, if you imagine you're that person who's, let's go to Claire, type 2 diabetes, you're overweight, you're putting on weight, your body's beginning to break down. You're going to have these maybe vision problems, you're going to have perhaps pains, you're going to be struggling for energy, and you're eating badly, you're sleeping badly, everything's just a mess. If someone could go, I could help you with that. Well, I know where you've been, I know what you're experiencing, or clients I've worked with have been where you are, or I help people with this. And by working with me, this is what you can, this is the outcome. So the outcome from where is the B. So the outcome, what's the outcome, Claire? What's the outcome compared to where you were, compared to where you were?
Massive difference.
Okay.
Just in terms of I was falling asleep all the time. I was having palpitations when I lay down and went to bed.
Yeah.
Anxiety, really, like having to have medication for anxiety.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit of depression thrown in.
Yeah.
Out of breath walking up the stairs.
And now they're gone.
Yeah, completely.
Instead, and also think of the instead, and then now that they're gone, that's fantastic, and no longer expect no longer experience blah blah blah, and expect to experience more energy, more confidence, more self-esteem, feeling better in your own skin, peace of mind, inner contentment, calm. Just think of what the experience is like, and that's really what you're selling, is a transformation from where they are now to where you want to get to. So don't forget that. Who wants that? When you can think of the transformation you can help with, who wants it? It's much easier than to find the people and put yourself in front of the people. Like if it's type 2 diabetes, there's diabetes groups out there who are dying to hear someone just like you. If you're into weight loss, there's people out there struggling with weight loss. If you're working with different areas, just find out where they hang out. Social media groups. I'm a big fan of thinking of the alternatives as well. Maybe asking and finding out where they go. Could you get referrals? Maybe start networking, go to physical events, connections. Then also, in terms of marketing, it's just great. This is a transformation. Oh, that sounds great, but how on earth do you do that? So this is where you have to get clear on and I usually recommend a package. Get away from selling your hour sessions. it's very hard to create that transformation, number one, in a session, but over a period of time. People need time, and they don't know how long they need. So you often have to kind of explain to them. It's more like I typically recommend a kind of a 6 week to 3 month program. It takes 3 months really for the bigger stuff to work. Depending on what you're doing, 4, 6. In my world of coaching, is kind of 8, 10, 12 sessions, or 8, 10, 12 weeks is a nice number. And you're starting off, maybe it's hard to invest people in that, maybe kind of 4 to 6 session packages, or 4 to 6 weeks. And then bring in your methodology. This is where someone like Barbara, who has a yoga, she's been a doula, she has nutrition, she's coaching. If you have a blend of, you have your nutrition and lifestyle out of you, but if you have a little bit of an interest perhaps in mindset, I'm mentoring a coach at the moment, and she helps middle-aged women after kids, and she had been with herself, so a negative critic in her mind, so she helps people with mindset. We brought in the mindset piece for her package to overturn the negative critic, or to create a positive mental dialogue or attitude, etc. Maybe you do some testing. Maybe you've got some. Maybe you're a coach as well. Maybe you're interpersonal training. Maybe you've got the experience, and certainly your own personal challenges. It's a fantastic thing to bring in here. Experience you have with other people, with other clients, and then think about how you deliver it. So delivery. So when you're breaking your package down, it's kind of the blend of what you do, and then it's how it's delivered. So it's over the space of 6 weeks. You're going to have 6 sessions with me, one-on-one. They're going to last 45 minutes or 60 minutes. You also want to create a sense of value. So it's like, remember that what else do they get? Is it just the one-to-one support with you, or maybe you offer support? People love the kind of, whether they know that, they love a sense of support that's not just by themselves. So I bring in accountability as one of the resources. You may have resources. It could be your meal plans. It could be your nutritional analysis. It could be kind of a time. Actually, working with the same lady I'm working with as a mentor coach, she helps people kind of prioritize. So it's basically time management, an important piece for her, for the busy moms with kids who are really kind of struggling. So we brought that piece into her package. So then the resources might be kind of we call it a life management system. And it could be just kind of a few documents or paper resources that make the paper tools. In health and wellness coaching, you have things like the Wheel of Life, or you might have a Well Life Coach Vision. So think of just call them resources. It sounds like the client's getting more, and we often underestimate those. Give them more value. Think of the duration, what they get, one-to-one messaging, maybe email, maybe part of a Facebook group. You can invite them into your Facebook group and give them that kind of support. Think of something that's low effort for you and high value for your client. Now, investment is the last thing. Who here is really happy with the prices? Yeah, I know the transformation I offer. Let's think about this. You want to get to the point where I know the transformation I offer. I know who needs that. This is my package. This is what I bring. This is how it's delivered. And this is the investment cost for the client. So actually, let's start. Write down somewhere niche. So how satisfied with yourself? How satisfied are you with your niche, knowing your niche? 0 to 100. Write it down for yourself. And if you just pick a number if you're not sure, next one would be, how clear are you on what you're selling in terms of what transformation are you selling? Satisfaction with how clear that is for you. Give it a number. Give it a number, who is my target audience? What percentage of satisfaction? Okay, yeah, really clear and not so clear. And then, okay, how clear am I on my methodology? The magic that I bring. The combination of me, but it's more than just my badge, my health and wellness coaching. It's my NLC, it's my nutrition. So try and bring in a little bit makes more unique, and something that makes it more you. It's where you start to step out from, and then you're not competing with other NLCs. You're only competing with yourself. This is your speciality. and then the delivery. Again, this takes time to pad this out, but not too much time. It's going to be 4 week, 6 week, 8 week, 10 week, 12 week. What do you offer? So your clarity on your methodology, the clarity on your delivery, give it a number, just so give yourself something to measure. And then the investment. Pricing. Who here struggles with that one? Who here, okay. Tell me, who here is anybody still being paid by hour? Does anyone have anyone who here who's being paid by, you have a price for your sessions, one-off sessions, and that's really it. Anybody still doing that? Okay.
I think for me,
Yeah.
Sorry, am I okay to speak?
Yeah.
Pricing has been really, really difficult. I've spent hours researching what other people charge, packages. Yeah, and I kind of gone in the middle now, grouping some things together, but not tying people in for the amount of time that you're saying there.
Yeah,
and I think this is kind of post training.
yeah.
For me, the training was great. I found this so hard to get content together and pricing.
Yeah. So here's what I learned as kind of useful is that the market will tell you what price is right. But you got to get good at what? The market will tell you the price, but you got to get good at telling your target audience that showing the value in what you offer. The more you can show the value in what you offer, the higher your price can be. And still, and also, there's going to be different people looking for different prices. Some people will be put off by the lower prices. Some people are put off by the higher prices. So depending on who you want to work with, that's really more about it than what you charge. We kind of, I'm going to talk about not taking things personally. We tend to over personalize these things. So what I would say is really what it's about is like getting comfortable. Okay, this is the transformation. Ideally, this is the transformation I offer. I'm going to go to the market. I'm going to tell them this is what I can do. And this is what you can get from working with me. This is how it works. And here's the investment. And if they go, oh, brilliant, Shane, thank you so much. That's when do we start? We're going to pay by credit card, by check, by cash. That's cool. You got to kind of, you're finding maybe you've undercharged. Normally in the higher fee ticket, you're going to go, oh God, that's a bit too easy. I should be charging more. If you're hitting that point where, oh, people really want to work with you and, oh, I don't know, sometimes you can give them some options. So it's a good idea to have a low, middle, high range. So typically I would have a sales call, which is kind of, I call it a discovery call, an enrollment call, and I enroll the client in the vision. I get clear on all of this. And when I'm satisfied that I can help them and I've shown them how I can help them, I make the investment offer. I make the offer and then there's a response. And the response tells me a lot. If it's a sale, it's a sale. And if it's not, sometimes you need to go back and go, maybe I need to change my pricing. Maybe I need to get better at showing the value I offer. So this is where the percentage marks you gave yourself there might be really useful. Okay. So my price is good, but my how I convey the value of it is terrible. It's no wonder I'm not getting results. And when you're starting out, it's hard, but these are longer term, these things become really, really valuable. So I'm going to try and simplify it for us all. So what if, I just heard this the other day, marketing is just telling stories. So what if marketing was about self-expression? And it's just about telling, so you've freed yourself up. There's only one job of marketing is to get people, marketing for longer term is to really to build a profile, establish your online presence or your authority in a certain field, get yourself more known. But really what it is about telling stories, it's about giving people opportunities to learn more about you and what you do. So think about telling stories. If you just keep it really simple for now, it's only about telling stories. I can tell people my story about the client's stories, success stories, stories that I like, just think about getting to the word of storytelling and try to do it from the way you express yourself, more naturally and most powerfully. And then sales is a big one. I'll probably do another free event before my group coaching program on the discovery call, because that itself is a huge one. I call it discovery call and an enrollment call, a clarity call, because all of your marketing really is designed to get people onto a sales call. When you go into a sales call, here's some really, so it's what a sales is just about asking questions. So if you're kind of like, oh God, the sales bit, I hate this bit. Just be curious. All you're trying to do in terms of sales is when you know what product you have back here, you know who you help and how you help them, and you're confident in that. All your sales is about doing is, having people ask me, but what's their biggest challenge? What do they want instead? That's your A and your B. Why have they not got that already? There's a reason they're there where they are and not where they don't, rather than where they want to be. So getting curious, thinking, what have they tried already? Why do you think you haven't already overcome your health challenge? Why do you think you haven't already lost weight? And then think, what do they need to succeed? So that's where you can start bridging out. So this is where I come in. A lot of people are doing a lot of like low fat diet and a lot of silly stuff. Perhaps your expertise come in, is all where you come in is like, why working with me would work. It would work, might work, is because of my approach. So this is because I combine this and this and this. I give you extra support, be happy with accountability. I know it's not easy, but over time you start to bring in the changes, and over time they start to work for you, and that's really powerful. And you start to basically match where, if you can genuinely help them, if you feel you can genuinely help them get from where they are to where they want to get to, you convey that to them as powerfully as you can, and then you make your offer, and your offer is going to be the prices. And you can say, would you like me to start with my bottom, or with the most recommended, or my highest value, or would you like me to go for another option? So you give them a kind of a range of 2 to 3. A range of 3 is kind of a golden number. A range of 3 products is nice. The same product simplified, so it's less sessions with you, less involvement, it's cheaper price. Sometimes you go, oh, it's too much more than I was thinking. It was more than I was thinking. Okay, let me tell you more about my other options, and you don't necessarily lose the sale there. So let's summarize, pull it all together, and I want to make you an offer. So you are in the business of creating transformations. That's your business, okay? So get excited about that. Wow, what transformations can I make? Serve, don't sell. That's been so powerful for me. I used to really pull back from selling. You're not really selling. If you can serve, you can find a target. If you know who you can help and how you can help them, and you go out there and you start serving those people over and over and over. I'm trying to serve you all right now powerfully. If I can help, I'm trying to serve you, that you go out there and get more clients and build a better business. And so that people can benefit from you. So serve. It builds up what? Does anyone, what does me helping you do for me? Do you trust me more? Do you find I've got, maybe some of you have left already, gone, it's like he's not for me. Maybe, actually, this guy's talking some sense, or I could learn more from him. So we can build up trust, we can build up rapport, we can build up a relationship. And that makes it easier when it comes to the point of making the offer. Oh yeah, I trust this guy. I trust this girl. She's been really cool. She's been really helpful. She seems to know a lot about diabetes. She's been there herself before. Also, it's a numbers game. So this is where it gets cringe comes in. Who here likes getting rejected? So not everybody wanted to date me. I used to be way too shy, and I'd go to the pub or go to the club, whatever, and I would just wait for the girls to come and get me, because I was afraid of rejection. I might have hid behind it, but it's a numbers game. In this case, not everybody's going to want you. You might go so far, and you get to it. I had two really promising discovery calls this week. Both of them were kind of rejections, felt as rejections. I lost that one. She's not interested in me. Oh, and then you get over it, and you're back, and you're at it again. It's a numbers game. So keep trying not to take it too personally. I've mentioned already. Yeah, remember the clients you're investing in themselves. So that money that you're pricing, it's more about the money they're willing to invest in themselves than it is the money they're going to invest in you. So keep taking you out of it, and helping remind them this is about you. This is an investment in you. And if it's an investment in your health, if you think that's important, then I think I have a product for you. Does your service match your needs? Sometimes you're curious and generate leads, you're talking to people, blah, blah, blah. And it turns out that what you offer them doesn't suit them. That's fine. If you've served them anyway, served them powerfully, maybe later on it'll work for you, or maybe there's not a good match. Not everybody, you don't have to keep dating someone that's not a good match. Make them an offer they can't refuse. So when you can really show that the value of working with you, the transformation they will get, and then you can make them an offer. And even as even if it's a higher price than you might have expected, they can't refuse. Oh my God, because if I do this program with you, I get that. And it's only going to cost me, so many €100. I want that. Okay. So playing the game, if you want to get serious, how many new connections did you make this week? Every week, if you're going, how many new connections, how many new connections, whether it's social media or reaching out to people or contacts, whatever, just building up connections, a really important number. And then that's not enough, because you just make friends with people, you can connect with people on LinkedIn. How many people did you engage with? How many did you actually outwardly go out, reach out to and engage with a message? Hey, hey, Ilaria, I really like your profile. Thank you for coming along to the webinar today. Would you like to tell me more about your coaching business? How many conversations you have? For all those people you reach out to, messaging gets you so far. You can get good at this. You start to use messaging to get people into a conversation. And then if the conversation, you get to a point where there is a match, you get to make an offer. That's another number. That's kind of very close to the end. And then for all the offers you made, how many sales did you make? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different numbers that if you were to put into your calendar, into your diary, you'd start to make a business out of this. Would anyone agree? So kind of rate where you are now. I want to make you an offer before you all go, and thank you so much for your time. First of all, for you all, some of you might know that I took on what were the IHS what were the IHS online courses. So there's a catalog there. It's now called the Wellness Evolution. There's about 14 or 15 different online digital courses. So I'm giving you all a 30% discount. I've asked someone to set up a discount for me. I think it's going to last 48 hours. So you've got 48 hours to go in there and pick a course that suits you. Some of them are for CPD courses for ongoing development, and they're lifetime access. And then the other are for personal health and well-being. So take a look at everything from eating well, movement, menopause, some good women's health ones in there. If you want to specialize in women's health, there's some particularly good courses in there. There's also a sports nutrition and a plant-based one if you're interested in that.
I can definitely vouch for the menopause course. It's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, Claire. Excellent. Great marketing. Thank you, Claire. Also, I've been talking to a lot of people, and not everybody is at a position in their career to really invest, to work with me one-on-one for the big pack for the 3 months. So I'm come up with a Kickstart Your Coaching Business group coaching course. I want to make it affordable, and I want to give you kind of more of what I'm doing here, but expand out, and also create a bit of a collective to push you through some of the squeaky bum time, to help get the confidence going and to generate enough of this momentum to just get you out of the blocks, get you creating some results in a strategic way. And just, rather than wasting time on social media, doing stuff that actually works, and then creating some connections, creating some conversations, and getting good at being able to handle those conversations, creating sales. So this is all going to be done by email. I'm away on holidays until the 1st of April, and I'll getting more back into this when I come back. But I'm giving you all a very special discount now, which is half price. I couldn't think of a much better offer than that. So I'll follow up with an email with more details to kind of come together last minute. But it will be kind of 2 hours a week, group coaching. We're going to meet together similar to this in the live webinars with me. And there'll be kind of enough content to guide you through those the basics of running a business and getting clients. So you have a kind of a strategy to follow, a roadmap and a strategy to follow. Things like your niche, how to get in front of your target audience, what's your core message you're going to be delivering, what's your offer, talk about the product, helping with that product delivery investment. And by the end of it, I hope you will all be kind of getting your clients in to pay back the course even before it's finished. Then one-to-one coaching with me. So if anyone's interested in coaching with me, I'm giving you a special offer here. If you only think maybe a 2-hour breakthrough coaching session, even if maybe you've been holding yourself back, or you want to just get that mental, all energy clarity to go for it, and something's holding you back, as €50 off my 2-hour breakthrough coaching session, and then up to $250 off a coaching package with me. Now that's on top of I offer what's called a decisiveness discount. So when I make the offer in a call, if it's a good match, there's a 48-hour kind of decisiveness discount. So that could potentially bring your package down by by 500 euro. So I'm trying to just make you an offer you can't refuse. And if it doesn't match, it's fine. I'll get over it. It might hurt, but I'll be okay. So you get that offer in an email follow-up later today. You also get a recording, and you get the slide deck. Reach out to me, please, with any questions on any of the above. And for those of you who don't have to leave for lunch already, perhaps it's nice to finish with a couple of take-homes. Does anyone want to share what they're taking away from today? Little chunks of value, I hope, somewhere in there. Thank you all for your time.
For me, it's really like the consistency in also having that positive thinking to myself. We here, all of us, we've been studying, and I'm sure everybody has more than one certifications and long training hours and so on. So it's really that confidence and making sure that we remind ourselves that we are capable and everybody is unique, and probably stop. Avoid getting influenced by the all that is there in terms of social media, because that could be, it can knock your confidence down really a lot. So I try not to let that get to me, and keep going with what I'm passionate for, trying to do things bit by bit. I know it takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. But I keep telling myself, be confident in yourself, keep going, and the consistency, because there's a lot of work behind it anyway.
Okay, totally agree. Consistency is key. Everything you're looking for is on the other side of consistency. And that can be hard. And I think what was really hard is to stay consistent and start to do things even when you don't feel like doing them. Talk with the numbers, are connecting every week. Trying to creating conversations. There's no business without conversations. So no conversations, no business. So it's putting yourself there, reaching out and getting those conversations, and being willing to get the rejections.
Can I say something about
yes,
this feeling like a fraud thing? The feeling of being it eases me to think like we are like therapists and counselors. Not everybody connects with every therapist.
Exactly.
They can all have knowledge, and you choose them according to their expertise, which they might have a great expertise. But if you don't, like, not everybody connects on a personal level with a therapist, therefore they don't get the best out of what they are offering. So that's like, it eases me to think like this, and get over that feeling of imposter syndrome.
Good. And at the end of the day, especially when you move to a package, you don't need a huge amount of people. Like I'm kind of when you're coaching like me, when you have you're fully booked at kind of 10 to 12 sessions a week, and that's kind of hard to manage. So that's not in the whole wide world, and they last for 3 months. Also, people don't want to really get into a long-term relationship with you. No offense, unless they really connect with you. So not everybody connects. Like someone was talking to me recently about Davina McCall. She's into the women's health now and in menopause. Not everybody wants to. She's really celebrity, the TV presenter. She's a wonderful woman, but not everybody really might want to work with her one-to-one. Some people are intimidated by her. Some people don't like her style. Some people just prefer you for yours. So remember, who here is married? What was it about that one person? Convince you to marry them. Maybe you're making a question now, but and think of that. Of all the people in the world, it's one person you chose to marry. So we're really looking for these. It's a kind of and it can be a special relationship. So you're not competing with the world. You're looking for the people who are right for you. And beautiful quote from Rumi. What you seek is seeking you. So the people you are seeking you. Remember that. It's a lovely little takeaway. I have a message here. Rebecca realized that I don't want to market my business because that makes it about me. Yeah, I got into nutrition to help others, and making myself feel visible is uncomfortable. But I am my business, so marketing myself and my business is necessary. Yeah, market yourself, but you're always speaking to one person, and you're serving the people you're here to serve. So it's not really about you. When you're coming from that energy, it's not me. I'm just going out there. I know who I can help, and I'm trying to help them. It makes it not about you, but it is about you, because people are going to see you expressing that, and that's a powerful energy. Thank you all for those of you who are leaving. Okay, we'll wrap it up. Thank you all so much for your time and for putting your trusting me and investing your time with me. Follow up the email. I hope some of those offers are of value to me. Reach out with any questions, and there will be another free event and before the group coaching call and starting 1st of May. Have a wonderful evening. Have a wonderful day. Good luck with your business. Share your wins. If you haven't already joined the Facebook page, I'll share that in the email as well. You share your wins, please. Super, and we're in this together. So support each other. It's a long old road by yourself, I can guarantee you. Okay, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. I'll send that to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks. Thank you all.
Shane.
Thanks, Shane.